lawsuits in states like Michigan, recounts pending in Wisconsin and Georgia, and outcomes still unclear in Arizona, North Carolina, and Pennsylvania, most legacy media outlets have begun to refer to Biden as president-elect. Given all of the unresolved issues, NTD will not follow suit and declare a winner.
NTD would like to clarify its position on the recent election. As of this time, nobody has been officially declared the winner of the 2020 U.S. presidential election. We recognize that it's not the media's role to declare election winners. And this year, the vote was sufficiently close that in some states there's a recount underway, and in other states there are legal challenges that need to play out. Therefore, NTD has decided that the most responsible approach is to wait until all results are certified and legal challenges resolved before we announce a winner.
Despite allegations of voter fraud and with ballot counting still ongoing, some world leaders have congratulated Joe Biden on winning the election. But China, a country with especially high stakes in the White House race, has remained relatively silent. We look into possible reasoning behind Beijing's uncharacteristic quiet.
The U.S. 2020 election remains far from over. That's with voter fraud allegations, vote counting and recounting, and lawsuits in key battleground states. Some world leaders have nonetheless congratulated Joe Biden on winning.
I congratulate Joe Biden from the bottom of my heart on his election as the 46th President of the United States of America.
But I join with other nations' leaders around the world in congratulating President-elect Joe Biden.
But one major player is missing here, China. Chinese officials have tread cautiously on the subject of election results.
We note that Mr. Biden has declared victory. We understand that the result of the U.S. presidential election will be determined following U.S. laws and procedures.
China affairs commentator Tang Jingyuan said one reason is that the Chinese regime is trying to avoid provoking President Trump. Even if Biden is elected, Trump still has 2 months left in office.
Then in these 2 months, Trump could very likely take many extremely harsh actions against the CCP, which will be even more disadvantageous for them.
So far, the Trump administration has taken unprecedented measures to challenge China on trade. It has also punished the regime for its suppression of Hong Kong and the Uyghur ethnic group in Xinjiang, as well as its claims to the South China Sea and its espionage operations in the U.S. Another concern for the Communist Party comes with the recent news on Joe Biden's son Hunter and his business dealings with a Chinese oil company. The company has been linked to Chinese intelligence and military agencies. One of Hunter's former business partners alleges that Joe Biden is aware of the dealings.
I've heard Joe Biden say that he's never discussed business with Hunter. That is false. I have firsthand knowledge about this because I directly dealt with the Biden family, including Joe Biden.
The Biden campaign has repeatedly denied the allegations.
If Biden indeed becomes president, his potential ties with China could become a topic that Republican lawmakers will snatch at and keep pursuing. Under this situation, the Chinese Communist Party has the motivation to downplay any relations with Biden.
But despite Beijing's silence, some Chinese state media have shown signs of relief. Global Times newspaper states that Biden's potential win could bring breathing room for U.S.-China relations, and that Biden entering the White House will be an opportunity to rebuild mutual trust between the U.S. and the Chinese Communist regime. Penny Zhou, NTD News.
More allegations have come out, including one that says thousands of mail-in ballots were from people who weren't properly registered to vote. According to a sworn affidavit, these ballots were allegedly added to the vote count in Detroit. We'll keep you updated as the situation develops. And more testimonies from poll watchers in Detroit, Michigan. One signed a sworn affidavit that said some of the voting machines were connected to the internet on election night. He says he saw an icon that indicated internet connection on the screen of a computer that was tabulating ballots. That's according to Michigan State Senator Patrick Colbeck. He says other poll watchers can attest to it. He also says that the security issue, which happened at 10 a.m. on Election Day, could possibly be attributed to the internet connection. His testimony is one of the 6 witness statements cited in the Michigan lawsuit. And an election software called Dominion Voting Systems is allegedly responsible for a 6,000 vote count mistake in a Michigan county. The software is used in 30 states, including every single swing state. According to a former federal prosecutor, Sidney Powell, some of the software's shareholders are government officials. NTD's Melina Weisskopf has more details about that.
Dominion Voting Systems dominates voting machines. It holds a third of the voting machine market. Its software was used in all the swing states this year, including Georgia, Pennsylvania, Arizona, Michigan, Wisconsin, North Carolina, and Nevada. During a Fox interview over the weekend, former federal prosecutor Sidney Powell pointed out that Senator Feinstein's husband, Richard Bloom, is a shareholder of Dominion Voting Systems. The software company also has ties to House Speaker Nancy Pelosi. Her former chief of staff is one of the lobbyists on the company's first ever lobbying firm. In Michigan, it was partially to blame for the 6,000 miscounted votes in Michigan's Antrim County. A skewed result initially saw Biden as winning the traditionally red county, but when corrected, they found out Trump actually won. The Antrim County clerk, Cheryl Guy, initially attributed the problem to a combination of a software glitch and human error. But just today, county officials backpedaled on the statement, saying the Dominion software had no part in the mistake, now blaming the problem solely on human error. And Michigan wasn't the only state where problems were connected to Dominion. In 2 Georgia counties the night before the election, 2 of the machines crashed. Voters in Morgan and Spalding counties couldn't cast ballots for hours after the crash. Election supervisor for Spalding County said the company uploaded something on the night before Election Day, which is not something that's normally ever done, and it caused a glitch. Reporting by Melina Weisskopf, NTD News.
News on Pfizer's COVID vaccine. It says an initial study shows a very promising prevention rate. It could be a major victory in the fight against the virus.
Pharmaceutical giant Pfizer says that its experimental coronavirus vaccine is more than 90% effective. That's based on initial data from a large study. Pfizer and its German partner BioNTech are the first drug makers to show successful data from a large-scale clinical trial of a coronavirus vaccine. The companies say they've so far found no serious safety concerns and expect to seek authorization for emergency use in the United States later this month. If authorized, the number of vaccine doses will initially be limited. Many questions also remain, including how long the vaccine will provide protection. Pfizer and BioNTech have a $1.95 billion contract with the US government to deliver 100 million vaccine doses beginning this year. They've also reached supply agreements with the European Union